Hi, I'm Tom Boscamp. I am the Veteran Services Coordinator at Coastline College. Coastline College has four campuses, two veteran resource centers. We serve not only veterans, but their family members, active duty, and we actually have a program called Hope Heroes. There, while justice impacted veterans are in the prisons taking college courses, we support them while they're in school. I also serve on the Orange County Veterans and Military Families Collaborative Steering Committee, and I'm the Education Liaison. And I'm a board member of the National Association of Veteran Program Administrators for the Region 8. So I'm also a U.S. Army veteran, and so I have a passion for serving other veterans. And I think it was, 4 years ago, 3.5 years ago, Stephen Myers had mentioned that they were going into the veteran resource centers and doing art classes as a form of therapy for the veterans. He said, would you like to do something like that in your VRC? And I said, well, if I do something in the VRC, maybe 4 or 5 veterans will show up. And, but I said, we actually have an art gallery and an art corridor. And so let's do this big and make it big. And so that started the first one that we did, and it just grew from there. So a lot of the veterans have trouble expressing themselves. They have um, they have trouble connecting. I've seen veterans come in and just sit down and do homework and not connect with anyone, even in the VRC, even with other veterans, right? And when you try to talk to them, they're kind of, well, they don't really want to. And so it's really hard to break through that layer to get that camaraderie. And so what I've seen is it's almost like going to a therapist, right? So and instead of telling the therapist of, this is what I'm going through, this is what's happening, this is what I'm feeling, they get to express it on canvas or in other means, right? And so once they get that monkey off their back, I've watched a lot of the veterans. I had one veteran that he's actually at Cal State Fullerton now, but when he first came in the VRC, clammed up. He wouldn't even get food out of the refrigerator. I mean, he would sit there and print off things that he needed to do and wouldn't really talk with anyone and share. And you know, as we're doing the events, he started coming in. Hired him as a work study, and so it was mandatory. He came to these events and he did some of these things, right? And so, boy, by the time he was done, he was the most active, engaging, friendly, talkative veteran that I had. And he's actually transferred to Cal State Fullerton. Uh, would bring his wife and kids to our veteran and families movie night, where we would show, we had watercolor and crayon tables for the kids to do stuff, right? And they would actually, so the last one we did, we showed Inside Out 2. And so the kids had their own little build your own burger and hot dog bar and stuff like that. And so that's the other thing. There's to break down those barriers, I think, is art is something that the whole family can do, right? Right? And there's enough events out there that cater just to the veteran. Okay, veteran, this event's for veterans only, right? So now the veteran starts thinking, well, I got to leave my wife at home and I got to get my babysitter for my kids or something like that, right? And but when you have events that like this, bring your kids, bring your spouse, right? Um, because that's their support system. And so, yeah, so he started coming. He'd bring the kids to the movie nights and all of that, and just he's a completely. And my wife even noticed, wow, he's really different. He's a different person. I think when you meet a veteran, um, understand that you don't know what they've been through, where they've been, what they're going through now, and it's very hard for veterans to ask for help. Like we're taught to like tough it out. I can make it. You know, I have some of my veteran students that don't even come into the VRC until after a year in school. And they come in and, yeah, here, I got book grants for you. I'll pay for your parking. I'll get this, school supplies. I wish I'd known about this stuff a year ago. And it's like, he never came in because it's so hard for them to ask for help. And it's so hard because we're taught, like, yeah, tough it out, make it in, you know, next man up. We can do this. But at the same time, we're also taught that our battle buddies, this is our family, this is who we are. And it's very hard to turn off that switch from being military to now I'm a civilian and I was a warrior and now I've had to make that switch. And so develop relationships with them because once that happens, then they will let you know what they need, what they're hoping to gain, and you build a trust factor. And veterans don't know what they don't know, which is why I have events like this, because they have no idea what's available for them. You mean I can go to horse equine therapy? I, I had no idea, right? Um, they don't know the stuff that's available out there, and so um, provide that for them, but then give them the the trust in you, and learn yourself what is out there, what's available. That's why 50% of my work at the college is outside the walls of the college. I am involved in so many different organizations because the more I know that's available out there, the more I can offer my student